Yeah.
Ian Rapaport of NFL Network just tweeting out seconds ago that he is believed to have suffered a sprain. Zay Flowers has suffered a knee sprain. It's not considered a major injury, though there is a real chance that he misses next week's wild card matchup. So that's what Ian Rapaport is noting. I guess the positive thing here is that it looks like he avoided a non-contact injury. If you go back and watch the replay, it seemed as if there was a collision, and I have the note right here in terms of which Brown defender it was. Mohamed Diabate. It looked like those two collided. Zay got up and walked off on his own power, but he did have a limp. He went directly to the medical tent, then to the locker room, and it was ultimately ruled out. You heard what John Harbaugh said. Ian Rapaport confirming just seconds ago that it's not considered to be a major injury, but the reality is they could be without number 4 wild card weekend. What's your reaction to
that? It's like partially relieved and partially bummed. You know what I mean? I'm bummed out for Zay Flowers because he has helped. He becomes the first Pro Bowl wide receiver in the history of the franchise, and he's had a 1,000-yard season. He's a major part of this offense going into the wild card weekend. He will be needed and he will be missed. But I'm partially relieved that it isn't, like a tear, that he isn't out for the playoffs, that there's hope. And so you just want it for him and you want it for this team that he is able to return, and they'll know more, like Harbaugh said, from the MRI. He says the real chance he misses next week. Sure. I mean, I guess the MRI will say everything. And it's crazy how fortunate the Ravens have been up to this point of how healthy they've been. And hopefully that streak continues and Zay is able to return sooner than later.
That is the latest on number 4, just a short while ago from Ian Rapaport. Stay tuned. We appreciate you guys for being with us tonight. Over 3,500 concurrents watching across all platforms. That gives us a chance to sneak in some super chats. Let's start it off. 13 of them so far. Benton says, Big Mike with the interception. Love the show. Hashtag Vault Worldwide. Of course, referring to Michael Pierce's interception, Sarah. 355-pound nose tackle was dropped into coverage. You already know we're going to have a segment for that once we get to the defensive side of this show. I promise you guys that. Sean Young, partner, I'll let you take this one.
Great moments with Jackson, Henry, Andrews, Wiggins, Bateman, and how about Pierce, the new spirit human of big guys like me? Why is his number 58 today, and on the Ravens app it's 32? Well, I don't know that it's ever been 32. That's Williams, Marcus Williams.
Captain Hard writes, Dan kept giving backhanded compliments while trying to suddenly make the case for Josh. He literally said Lamar has a better offensive line than Josh, which is what you referenced earlier on. Zachariah hitting us with a super chat, and Michelle Ferguson.
Michelle says, let's go Ravens. Happy game day from Australia. Woof. What time is it?
Awesome, Michelle. And good morning, correct? Good morning from Australia. Ramrod13 says, going to be replaying the BP interception all night. Hashtag Kings of the North. And another one from Zachariah.
Big win, fellas. Hawaii loves you, Sarah and Bobby. Super Bowl bound, all caps.
That's awesome. So we've got Hawaiians tuning in. We've got Aussies tuning in. That we should get a roll call right now.
Icelanders, Icelandic.
You already know it. You already know Thor's ready to go. He's representing in Iceland. Roll call. Where are you guys at tonight? Where are you watching us from? How you celebrating? Would love to hear from you in the live chat. The Aries Explorer says, hey, Bobby and Sarah and Ravens flock, can we take a moment and celebrate Pierce for that pick in the 4th? All of Canton was on their feet. Oh, it was. Did you see the sideline erupting?
Oh, erupted.
We're getting there.
I mean, I feel like the sideline erupted more with that pick than like one of the game sealing ones from Marlon Humphrey or elsewhere. Like it's been, and even the pick 6, the rookie career first pick 6 for Wiggins, like they were getting up for that one too. But Pierce was another level.
No doubt. Wiggins, by the way, of course, we'll talk about Nasty Nate, who plunged into the Bank Stadium celebrating that first career interception, pick 6, as you referenced. That was hysterical. Good for him. Lindsay Bustler, that's you.
How about Dan's comment about how it's hard not to say Lamar's the MVP, and then at the end of the game making a comment about our O-line being great, so that makes Josh VP. Can't make this shizzle up. Is that what that was? I have no idea.
There's Thor right on cue. Bring on the Steelers, he writes. They're looking terrible. Right now, they are on the board. There's over 5 minutes left to go in the first half. Cincy leads Pittsburgh 10-7 in a game that the Bengals absolutely have to have if they want to keep their postseason hopes alive, Sarah, going into Sunday. Jemmy 93 for you.
So Michael Pierce back up for Marlowe. That means.
Oh, dropping him back in coverage. Can he back up Marlon and
Oh, he's the backup. Okay, I saw it as a verb. You saw it as a noun. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how we meant it. Okay.
Yeah. Captain Hard writes, LOL, Bobby, got to disagree. Dan had a lot of backhanded compliments. I'm just telling you what the quote was. That's all I tweeted out was his direct quote that it would be hard not to call Lamar MVP. Now, did he flip-flop at the end there? Maybe. That's up for interpretation. Did he sway him enough? The guy said it was over after 15 weeks. I get that he's apologized. I don't know if he's being swayed at all, Sarah. AD for you.
MV3 needs to play like today 4 more games. #Vault.
That's what it comes down to, right? They're 3 games away from the postseason. Excuse me, from where they haven't gone yet in the Lamar era. Jack Lum says MV3, Monken, all-time season. Harbaugh, extension. Already calling for John Harbaugh's contractual extension. How about that? King 95 for you.
Lamar always said Bate was wide receiver 1. He showed it. Bate had a great game.
We will absolutely
after
highlight
he got
him.
rocked.
I was going to say, we will absolutely highlight him. And while doing so, we have to talk about his response to getting rocked, which is impressive. Chris says, we the North, another AFC North title. And D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez for you.
The recruiting in the Ravens press conference was real today. The Vault fan presence was real tonight. Kings of the North, poor the Henry.
Pour the Henny.
No, pour the Henny. My bad.
Yeah, the Henny. And I have to tell you, I did see #Vaults in the Ravens YouTube live chat during their production, during their press conference tonight. And I have to tell you, that's a proud moment right there. There were only a couple of them, but that to me was a proud moment. And so, D-Rod, I'm with you. I felt that. I saw that. And I also felt Kyle's words. If you don't think this dude has a true impact on that locker room internally, both on and off the field, man, he is a winner. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion for a reason, and he is making Eric DeCosta, Sarah, look awfully smart for taking a chance on him last year because he hit some incentives today, and you know we're going to enjoy that one coming up in the defensive section as well. Justin Holt for you.
See you at Be More Around Town next Sunday, Bobby.
Cannot wait. Wild Card Weekend pregame tailgate show at Be More Around Town. Rodrigo says, oh, no, this is for you.
Whoa, dummy! EDC cooked with the North Ave Nate draft.
And Captain Hard says, shaky start, but love the way that we finished. 20 super chats so far, and we're gone just over 25 minutes. We appreciate you guys for being with us. Please, on your way in, like the video if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of when we're dropping our daily live content. And lastly, consider supporting our fantastic brand partner who has been with us for every single post-game show as our exclusive sponsor all year long. And that is the folks at GEHA, aka Government Employees Health Association. They continue to be a proud partner of the Baltimore Ravens. And for over 87 years, Government Employees Health Association has offered health and dental benefits designed to meet the unique needs of federal employees and retirees, military retirees, and their families. And with over 2 million members and growing, GEHA continues to serve those members and families who serve all of us every single day. At GEHA, your health is not our business, it's our purpose. You can learn more by visiting our unique link. That is GEHA.com/RavensVault. All that information can be found on the top of the show notes. It's also a pinned comment, as you see right now in the live chat. Goes a long way towards our partnership with them and their belief in us. If you would go click on that link and learn more about GEHA. Shall we talk about the birthday boy before we get too ahead of ourselves here tonight?
We absolutely need to. He started off slow and then absolutely went off. It's funny because I think it was, I can't remember who it was, if it was in the booth or if it was in the studio, but the guys were like, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize Derrick Henry was so close to 2,000 yards." And they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's because he wasn't. He's gone off for 140 in this game alone with that high of 43 where he broke through." And just, I mean, the Cleveland Browns offensive line, they put together a courageous first half, but they used all their energy on that first half because Derrick Henry absolutely wore them down with a 6.9 rushing yard average per each attempt. And he had 20 tonight. That's like the perfect number. And he and Lamar Jackson were an incredible duo.
Oh, yeah. Again, he turns 31 today. What did he have in the first half? Only like 6 or 8 yards? Something like that. The guy went off. He finishes with 20 carries, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. And it's historic, too, because he broke the single season mark set by the great Jamal Lewis in 2003. And what a historic year it was for the King, not just all 4 quarters wise, and specifically down the second half stretch, but in the second half and overtime of games this season on average. He is code name the closer. Over 1,100 rushing yards. That's second league wide. First in yards after contact with 746. Tied for first with 8 rushing touchdowns. First in first downs, 55. First in 56 missed tackles forced. And second in yards per carry with 6.6. Again, these are all metrics that are in the second half or overtime of games this season. This is why they brought him to Baltimore. They didn't need a closer. They needed a second closer. That's exactly what they have, Sarah. They have 2 closers in the same backfield, both of which are on Hall of Fame trajectories. Derrick is obviously, both of them, not trajectories is not even the right word. They are both cemented as future Hall of Famers in Canton.
Oh, absolutely. They both are. And it's just, I've been saying this, but it's just like, soak this in that you have these 2 guys. And I especially was soaking that in, that we have this duo when Derrick Henry had his first touchdown where he bulldozed in from 2 yards out. And then he and Lamar were facing each other and Lamar set him up for his touchdown dance.
Yep.
And it was like, look at this right here. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on the same team in the end zone together. And Lamar had kind of set that up with that pass to Ricard. I mean, look at these guys. These guys are in a locker room together. And we'll probably get it again next year. I don't know why we wouldn't get it next year. He signed for a second year unless Derrick decides to retire. But he's under contract. He's not going to play for anybody else. There's no reason why the Ravens wouldn't keep that contract with the way these 2 are playing. And what's funny, Bobby, is when he did that touchdown dance, all I could think about is a previous Wired episode where he got a touchdown. I can't remember who it was against. And the guys on the sideline were like, "Come on, man, why don't you do a dance?" And he's like, no, I'm too old for that. I'm over it, yada, yada, yada. And then here he was dancing. I was like, okay, maybe he has an exception for himself when he makes a franchise record, when he's got a career year going on. I mean, it is crazy how close he was to another 2,000-yard season. Absolutely crazy.
Literally. And you mentioned the number, 1,921. That's good for second most in his career. 16 rushing touchdowns. That's tied for the second most in his career. 18 total touchdowns. That's tied for the most in his career. So here you have an aging player, as many folks coined him to be. Now he is aging in obviously number in years, but physically and ability wise, it feels like he's actually de-aging. And a lot of that has to do with his running mate. As you see here on the screen, he and Lamar Jackson have been absolutely sensational together. If those numbers aren't enough for you, we'll go to more graphics provided by ESPN. Why not? It's his 27th career game with more than 2 rushing touchdowns for Derrick. That ties Jim Brown the great Jim Brown for 4th most in NFL history. He's got over 100 career rushing touchdowns, 106 to be exact. That's tied for 6th most in NFL history. I mean, do we keep going? I think that's actually all that we have. We may have one more here, and here it is. 6 carries for 8 rushing yards in the first half. Cleveland did its job, but as you mentioned, the closer wasn't done. Cleveland was. And that's the difference. Look at that second half number.
It's you were right, man. I like 8 yards. I thought you were like, what did you have in the first half? And you were like 8. And I was like, no, Bobby, that's way too little.
Yes.
No, it was 8. You were correct.
Look at the difference.
You were correct. And it's funny because in Lamar Jackson's post-game interview with ESPN, he was asked about Derrick Henry. He's like, all I know is that like every 2 seconds, the announcers over the speakers were announcing another record that he had broken. It was just like one after another. And then I saw some fans that are finally back from the game. They get on Twitter. They're like, yeah, it was like almost comical at one point because they kept having to get back on and they kept having to announce another record. Look at you. See, now you could join them. You're always ready for a good cigar.
Is there anything better than a hat and t-shirt game in the aftermath of a post-game locker room celebration? You got the AFC North champion newspapers and the cigars, the victory cigars. Keaton, Derrick, and who else is with these guys?
I don't know.
Let's
Who
see.
Do see that is back there.
Oh, that's Rasheen. Okay, so it's the running back room at a locker room. Rasheen, the rookie out of Marshall, Keaton,
no Justice
and the King.
Hill, who's probably still sick.
Probably sick, but the boys are enjoying themselves and deservedly so. I love this photo.
Here's what's hilarious to me is this man, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson last week would not eat Christmas cake.
Oh yeah.
For I'm forgetting her name. Our girl at the NFL Network, Good Morning
Jamie
Football.
Erdahl. Yep.
There we go, Jamie. She's practically begging them to eat one bite of Christmas cake. Derrick Henry's like, nah, but a cigar, he's there for it.
I'm loving it. Look at these guys. These guys are a vibe right now. I'm sure you guys are feeling very similar wherever you are watching us tonight.